Well, we are heading in to our first draft right now. Luminosity Gaming is going to be on your purple side. Peru Unite is going to be on your orange side. We can see our bands up here. We have Inteleon banned out, Blissey. We were talking about this earlier. We also have Mew and Urshifu. Now, Mew, that's a targeted ban. You're not going to see a lot of teams ban out Mew, but they do not want to deal with Otter on this Pokemon. It's one of his best.
It really is. Grabbing Zacian early, also good. We've seen a lot of quality Zacian players here. Draken grabbing Snorlax, and that's another favorite of SlashCan, so that's kind of banning by proxy, right? You put it on your team so they can't have it. Trainer gonna look and hover this Leafeon, and we are definitely getting a different look out of these teams than what we were watching yesterday.
Yeah, it looks like they're adapting to their opponents already. They know what they want. So Curios on this Mewtwo. Why? I think a huge reason for that, of course, is we've seen Zinus play this quite a bit on the side of Peru. Mewtwo-wise is just incredibly powerful, right? In general, Psystrike is amazing, able to do absurd damage at range, also making you unstoppable while also knocking your opponents up in an area incredibly strong with a global Unite move. That's its strongest move in the game, able to hit everyone on the map no matter where they are.
Yeah, Zainu's locking in Alolan Ninetales, so the ranged attacker there, but also Alolan Ninetales is specifically strong into Zacian, so you're grabbing that so that the other team can't happen and cut off your first pick. Good look by Zainu. Let's see where Luminosity decides to round this thing out, and honestly, Overlord grabbing Blaziken, and of course, in the last spot, Mimikyu, which is something Trainer has been on ad nauseum.
Yeah, Trainer has really made Mimikyu shine, but if we want to talk briefly about the Blaziken pick, last night, final game of the night, final match between Komai and Luminosity. We saw one of the most incredible Rayquaza steals of all time with Overlord. Overheat from Blaziken is one of the best secure tools in the game. He had to quickly dive into the Rayquaza pit and just tap it briefly to take Ray. Otherwise, Komai would actually be here right now. It was one of the craziest steals we've seen in the Championship Series.
It's going to go down in the history books as one of the best Unite plays ever done, but we said great players make great plays, and Overlord is certainly a great player. Rounding this thing out is that Aegislash that we mentioned. Not quite good enough to earn itself a ban all the time, but definitely good enough to find itself in the lobby quite often.
Yeah, this Pokemon is just so good right now. The ability to dive into a fight to engage, and then quickly wide guard, bring that shield form up with a massive shield, able to push your opponents around, knock them up, give you incredible defenses. It's a really, really strong choice. And again, yeah, it really hasn't hit anyone's radar as a ban just yet, as our teams are locked in, getting ready right here, heading down to the Thea Sky Ruins. This is when it was debuted, wasn't it? I remember this. This is beautiful.
Good. I mean, you used to think there are the ruins now, but it's because of all the battling we've been doing in here over the last 3 years, you know? Eventually, the structural integrity begins to crumble a little bit, and what you're left with is our battleground for today.
Yeah, that's what we're going to be seeing here today. Our teams battling it out on the ruins. Of course, the match is 10 minutes long. They're looking to score as many points as possible in those goal zones. And on the other side is a team of 5 looking to stop them from doing that. Here we go. Luminosity Gaming, your purple team. Peru Unite, your orange team. These are the EOS Cup Grand Finals.
Going straight into path, Overlord and Otter have been working together all season long, and right now is no exception. Anemo going to work through the central areas. We saw the Snorlax take the jump pad and almost feign an invade as they peel back up top to the top. Now we're seeing Kea and Tempo working through, trying to limit the ability of SlashCan to become Umbreon, because they are one of the best Umbreons in the world.
Yeah, I think probably the best Umbreon I've ever seen right there. And this is some unconventional pathing here from these two teams, right? You don't often see the Alolan Ninetales in the top path, the Zacian in the bottom path. So Tempo and, Peru Unite, they definitely have some tricks up their sleeve with some of these choices.
Yeah, nice quick secure by Draken. Snorlax is great for that early game. Great rotation by Trainer, cut off by the Alolan Ninetales, and Zainus with a heads-up play.
And now we see Kia and Slash, getting a look at each other right here, just getting some information as to exactly where these two teams are. If Kia notices that Slash moves up, they can move up to counter, as we have 3 members of Luminosity pressuring this Tier 1 goal zone here from Peru.
Now Otter is coming up to support. Nice little surf into a Nimmo to cut them off. The double A going back in. They're low on HP, and now they're gone. The K opener to LG and Trainer specifically.
Yeah, that's massive, especially taking that central area Pokemon, right? The higher the level, the more experience you're getting. Overlord in some trouble right now, needing to run away from this engagement. It looks like Peru has actually done pretty well in this top path as far as making sure that Overlord could not evolve, but of course, losing that dual blade early is rough.
Something that LG has been doing yesterday and now, we just saw it, is giving up or making it look like you're ready to give up a premium target, right? Overlord kind of looking like they overextended, but if you saw, waiting was Trainer to pounce on anybody that tried to pursue. Peru, sensing that, didn't quite take the bait.
You can see we have the 8-minute mark right here, meaning there is a fight happening in the center, but it looks like Tempo actually tried to put some pressure on Slash right here. Zionist making it down to the center, but just a little late. They would love to stop this Blaziken from evolving if they could.
Yeah, Overlord taking a look at Zain, who's forcing out the eject button, going over the wall. Here we go. They're going to take everything in the middle. Slashcam putting good pressure on Tempo, allowing Kyrios to follow up. The side strike actually eaten by Kea, and that's what I'm talking about. The support core from Peru always stepping up, protecting Anemo and Tempo. Tempo is working in their flux zone. Slashcam caught there as well, but it's allowing 30 points to go in, and Overlord evolves to Blaziken. The overheat is charged up. Nobody willing to step into the tall grass and eat that thing in the chin, and now they're going to have to peel back. Anemo's on the chase. Overlord is low. They're going straight for them. They get the knockout they want.
Beautiful plays there by Peru. I mean, they were on the back foot. Luminosity with a really great push onto that goal zone. But after they catch them there with that Avalanche Blizzard, look at them just absolutely cooking here on this tier 1, throwing some points in the goal zone. Slash trying to stop them. Otter is now here. The side strike knocks up 3 as they push them back from this goal zone. LG is back, and somehow barely any points go in.
Holding on the 4v2 was miraculous. The side strike for 2 players to get popped up helps a ton, enough to make Peru bail.
Look at that right there, though. Quickly taking that bottom objective. We didn't even get to see the Regice hit the board. That's how fast Peru Unite ripped it off. As soon as Luminosity was back, they just peeled back towards the objective. You know, Zacian rips so fast. Aegislash with incredible secure. And now this top objective, Regieleki, is walking towards this tier 1 goal zone. Peru moving in to try to pick up a KO right away. Huge block. Trainer's in a lot of trouble.
Side strike is going to come in. Tempo takes a ton of damage. They're on the verge of going down. They do. They grab the Mimikyu with them on their way out. Tempo's still standing, actually. Overlord sorting that out. Draken dodges and tries to get the heavy slam up over Blaziken, but unsuccessful. Dainu's getting credit back the other way, and these teams are ripping through each other. Wide guard is there, pinning Otter against the wall. Working through it is Kyrios. They just came out of Mega Form. Now they're trying. Big Ron, the Psyduck sorts them out, and that is just like Anemo to do that in that moment.
These players are playing for their highlight reels right now. Every single moment trying to outplay their opponents, moving in with the eject button, picking up that KO. Zionist takes it, and then we bring in the Aegislash with the coup de grace. I mean, we are really looking to outplay our opponents and prove something at the start of this match. 50-26. That's how close this game is. So back and forth the entire way.
Peru didn't care about that Regieleki at all. Secured by LG, they let it hit their goal zone, and that's the only 20 points that thing has away from it. And LG was unable to scramble up and score. Now they're putting pressure on Tempo very quickly. Tempo grabbing both berries to get their HP. There's a Mimikyu Unite, and now they need to get the KO to make sure that thing was worthwhile, and they are successful. Can this 34 points go in? They don't even try it. Otter caught out. They try to surf back, and the Mimikyu gets out of there with a Shadow Sneak on the wild Pokemon. Otter giving themselves up, the sacrificial duck here for Peru.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want one of your Pokemon to go down, of course it is either your supporter or defender, right? You're trying to not give up these high-level KOs that some of your carries have right here. So when Psyduck goes down instead of the Blaziken, instead of the Mimikyu, that is a really smart heads-up play by Luminosity. If you're going to give something, that's what you're trying to give here as we get ready for Regice.
Slashcan is playing up forward. They're trying to suss out where this team is, and they found them all in spades. Otter with the backline surf to see where they can go. Kyrios stepping up as well. There's the Snow Globe out of the Alolan Ninetales. Tons of damage put in. Slash still standing, and so is Otter. They're peeling back towards Regice. Half HP shrinking quickly. Overheat is there. Overheat secures. That's why you picked that Pokemon. Overlord proved that yesterday. Game 5 against Komai, and now they're looking at Draken. That should be easy fodder on the... Oh no, the block back the other way, pinned against the wall. The Overheat does sort out that KO, and now they need to get out of dodge. The wide guard is there. The Zacian steps up. Coup de grace doesn't quite find it smart, but we've got KOs going back the other way. away as we're slashing through, and finally the sword is broken.
This is absolutely relentless. These teams will not let the other breathe. Luminosity moving towards this goal zone, but Zinus is there. Draken moving back down. They're trying to stop them from scoring with another Mimikyu Unite move, and it looks like Luminosity is finally going to need to peel back so everyone can take a breath. In the top path, we have Blaziken scoring. They've been waiting for this for a while here. It looks like they are stacking up one of their stacking items, most likely their attack weight, possibly both an attack weight and Aeos Cookie. This is something a Pokemon can use every time they score. They are able to generate more permanent stats for them throughout the match.
Real quick, you saw Otter go in, break that goal zone with a very small overdunk, and the reason they did that is because Peru would have been able to take a great fight against them if that was still there. Because your goal zone provides a little bit of healing and some shields, it's very beneficial for your team to fight on top of it.
Now, I know it doesn't feel like it, Dupes Next, but we are already at the 3-minute mark here because it's just non-stop fighting between these two squads. 111 to 82, incredibly close. We have a Tier 1 goal zone on the top for Luminosity, a Tier 1 goal zone on the bottom for Peru. LG is up on the scoreboard, but it is insanely close. You do not feel comfortable with a lead like this, but in 1 minute, Rayquaza is going to hit the map, and if the rest of the match is any indication as to how this is going to go, these two teams are going to be brawling for it right away.
Slashcan stepping up, getting vision. Of course, Peru with the advantage here, with that Tier 1 goal zone in the bottom pass still up, they can make a stronger play on this basement Reggie than LG can. We'll see how they decide to play it, because this might actually materialize into our Ray fight.
Yeah, and here we go. They're actually pushing forward. Massive Blaze Kick. They pull them back right here. They're in a lot of trouble. Tempo actually able to peel away. Huge heavy slam block, and Peru Unite is going to pull away from this fight.
Overlord just enough to test the waters, goes forward to keep Peru honest. We've got 10 seconds until the first Rayquaza of the grand final.
That's right. Our teams are getting set up here. Overlord with extremely aggressive positioning right here. If he could, he would love to grab one of these players right there. There was the Blaze Kick, which would have dragged Snorlax back towards their team. Now, it's not the target you're looking for. You would love for it to be that squishy Alola Ninetales, of course. Now we have Snorlax heading back to base. Luminosity getting ready for this fight, and Peru setting up in the tall grass right here. This is a big moment for these two teams. The winner of this game is going to create some huge momentum. Ray is on the board. Snorlax moving in. We have the Side Strike here from Mewtwo, and here comes the Zacian, but it doesn't look like anyone wants to engage just yet.
Cotton Cloud Crash going up to the skies. Eldegoss is going to land right in the middle. Rayquaza is getting ripped up. You got to charge the overheat. You got to get in there. Snow Globe is out, taken by the Mewtwo Mega right there. Cure Luminosity Gaming putting them forward. 3 players down. Zinus is trying to hang tough, but they ain't new kids on the block. They can't. Now we're going to scramble and get some points in.
Amazing stuff from Luminosity. It really feels like Peru was moving in there, and I think maybe unexpectedly they did start ripping through that objective. LG able to take it out from under them, and they are going to be taking game number 1 here. 601 points to 82. Extremely aggressive play from Peru, and I'm honestly a little shocked that they went for it so fast.
Trainer moving around, and so is the rest of LG as they're trying to get their feet back under them after taking a commanding lead. This is what we call the break point in Unite. If you are up by over 500 points, it is nigh impossible for the other team to come back. Why? Because under 2 minutes, with 50 points, the most you can hold in Unite, you score. Under 2 minutes, it's double. And with 5 players on a team, everybody scoring 500, you can't quite eclipse what the other team has. And we're seeing that bear out here, 727 to 82.
Now, something I want to talk to you about here, Doob Snacks, as the moments tick down here from game number 1. If you're Peru and you're running into a team with, a Blaziken on it, ready around a Rayquaza pit, the only reason I can assume that you would even start hitting Ray there is you think you're going to catch your opponents by surprise, because they have one of the best secure tools in the entire game.
Yeah, that's incredibly true as we tick down here and we're in garbage time. These teams farming up their numbers for the post-game statistics. Luminosity taking game 1. I'm very surprised for 2 teams that were fighting incredibly. Luminosity Gaming loves to play against the type of team that Peru is. Again, traditional frontlining with the Eldegoss, with the Snorlax, right? 2 attackers and then a little bit of ranged mix in with that Alola Ninetales. Luminosity has seen that for the last 4 years. They know how to play against that cookie cutter strategy, and we just see them win another game 1 here because that's how Peru Unite is playing. I'd love to see one of the mix-ups, one of the change-ups that they were talking about in that on-stage interview here in game 2 to try and snag back some of that momentum.
Now, the draft screen that we saw earlier, obviously, that's that in-game draft screen that you're probably pretty familiar with. What you're seeing right here is the Unite Championship Series draft screen. Gives us a little more information about these 2 squads as we're going through it. We can see our bans here once again. Blissey, no shock. Slash on the side of Luminosity has won worlds with this Pokemon. Mew, of course, that's a targeted ban, making sure that Otter can't get their favorite Pokemon. On the other side, they're worried about a couple attackers here, so they're making sure that Inteleon and Miraidon are not picked. Peru taking that Psyduck. It did really feel like Otter was pretty quacked on that thing, so I'm not surprised they did take it. Sorry, pretty corned on that thing.
Pretty corned. Just like that joke, corny. Kea, great on Psyduck as well. Targeted ban is the Inteleon for Zainus. Cut them off from that. They're phenomenal on that Pokemon as well. Mewtwo selected early, and Urshifu. Now, this has two options for Luminosity Gaming. It can be in the hands of Trainer with Wicked Blow, or it can be in the hands of Overlord with that Rapid Strike, that Blue Bear style, ready to schmoove and groove through the opposing squad.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how they want to finish out the rest of their picks here. I don't know if I've seen Otter on Hoopa this weekend. It's interesting because one of Hoopa's movesets, Hyperspace Hole, is not available for competition, but Trick has been played by many teams, and it's been pretty phenomenal. It allows you to make some really interesting plays where you give an ally a shield. They also have increased stats while they're going at it. They have, better move speed, and you have the ability to pull them out of an encounter in some really interesting ways with Phantom Force.
Yeah, and you get a heal when you go back through that Hoopa portal, so it does offer a healing factor in that sense. Slash, grabbing Aegislash, I doubt they'll be the person on that. We'll see how Peru rounds this thing out. One of the few teams that does play Candle, Chandelure locked in, and you see that pick rate, only 2%.
And now we're looking for our final pick here. Overlord is going to be selecting it, but of course it might not be the Pokemon Overlord is playing. After the teams select their Pokemon, they're able to swap them amongst each other so that you can pick the Pokemon in the order you would like. However, it is a Cinderace. So we have two attackers, two kind of more stereotypical auto attack Pokemon. You've got Mewtwo and Cinderace, and it looks like Slash is going to be playing sort of a support defender-ish Mewtwo, and then we have Otter on Hoopa. This is what we were talking about earlier. Luminosity Gaming is playing this game on another level. The only question is that level above or behind Peru? Are they the final boss, or is Peru going to take them out here?
Well, you can literally see stylistically the differences between these two teams that we've been harping on. A support, a tank, two melee attackers, range. On the other side of Luminosity Gaming, absolute chaos.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see some of these picks. We saw Luminosity win the North America tournament last month, I believe it was, with Charizard, a Pokemon that you don't see that much anymore. Now they are bringing out Cinderace, another Pokemon that you just do not see played that often. In fact, the entire sort of category of these auto attack Pokemon has not been super popular here on the Thea Sky Ruins for a while. I'm talking things like Decidueye, Cinderace, Greninja, Dragapult. Well, we are seeing one of them here today as we are getting ready for game number 2. Luminosity Gaming up 1 right now in our grand finals. This is a best of 5 Doob Snacks. The winner of that best of 5 will win the entire thing, and they will be our first team guaranteed to be heading to Worlds in Anaheim.
Here we go, heading into game 2 quickly. Peru, unite your purple team. Luminosity Gaming, your orange team. Game 2 underway.
That's right. Overlord heading to the top path right here, while Urshifu, the Cubfu, heading into this central area. Now, this is a Pokemon that needs a lot of experience, that Cubfu, because as a little Cubfu, it might just be one of the worst things on Thea Sky Ruins. But once it becomes Urshifu, it's an absolute force. Overlord going to be up here in this top path.
All right. Quickly trying to get and actually splitting the central area from Luminosity Gaming, because Cinderace is pretty experience hungry in and of itself. Tempo taking a ton of damage. Hoopa no slouch on the A presses early. Draken kind of seeing, taking inventory of what's going on here on the orange side of the map. Slashcan stepping up again as this kind of tank-ish Mew.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how exactly this all plays out. If this works out, I mean, solo queue players, don't take note of this. This is the best of the best. I don't know if we need to have Cinderace and EXP share Mewtwo Y. Maybe Luminosity can handle that.
Yeah, maybe they can. You and I certainly cannot.
Nope, 0-5 this weekend, you and me, buddy.
Yeah, not great. We haven't touched the game since because it was so sad. Wicked Blow charged up, bang, straight through Mimikyu, tons of damage. That's a knockout. Hey, press him down. We already have a reboot. Overlord, the Pirate Bunny, moving forward here, trying to just kick the soccer balls of fire right into Tempo's grill, and they are are very successful. Tempo can't even step up. Now they might be able to with a berry. Kea, level 4, might be able to surf forward and open up an opportunity, but no, all those birds that materialize go to Luminosity Gaming and another stack for Overlord.
Now here comes Inus up to the top path right here. Trainer in some trouble trying to get away from this situation. The Wicked Blow charged up. The trick from Hoopa pulling them out of this fight. Actually, I can't believe they made it out, but of course the incredible support right there from the Hoopa.
I mean, Wicked Blow, bang,
wow,
right into the Gabite, and that's an easy combination to get a knockout here. SlashCan with the early rotation, helping them put pressure on the top path. Doublade downstairs, Curios left to their own devices. We'll see how Peru adjusts.
And here we have Overlord, as you mentioned, the Pirate Bunny, sounds like a One Piece character, taking some of this experience here in the central area. They are now evolved into Cinderace.
Going to have to A-press the opposing team down, and they're certainly looking forward to that. Nice little wide guard to keep Draken from attacking and able to get their 10 points in. Mimikyu, meanwhile, taking out SlashCan upstairs. KO Streak of 2, taking out Otter as well.
Yeah, and here we go. They're pushing towards this goal zone. Overlord in some trouble right here. If they get caught by this Shadow Sneak, this is going to be a difficult fight for them. They are caught. They're pushing forward, and of course, they go down. I mean, I'm sure Overlord knew that was a possibility. It's really hard. They don't want to give up this goal zone, but at the same time, that Shadow Sneak is coming.
Nice side strike, putting tons of damage on Tempo, really limiting the ability of Peru to push forward. They were retreating a hair there. SlashCan going to try and go for some secures as K is putting some great pressure. Hits him with the Psychic and the Surf. Here comes the Chandelure. We actually have that Disable kind of coming out, and that's going to be able to help shut down key abilities on the side of Luminosity.
That's right. When you're in that zone, you are not able to use any of your moves, and it's pretty devastating. While at the same time, you know, they have a lot of Pokemon that just want to press that A button over there on the side of Luminosity. So Cinderace in there, maybe not too stressed out, but some others could be devastating to not be able to use your Wicked Blow on her Shifu.
I don't know if you just saw that, but Curios accidentally used their coup de grace on a Bunnelby and was unsuccessful in securing it, and now they have to fight from pad without it. So Curios, a little bit of misstep. Wide guard, they can see if they can at least get a KO. They do. Mimikyu goes down. Quality knockout there for them. Regieleki getting caught up by the Sword and Hoopa in tandem. Luminosity rotating downstairs.
Yeah, Luminosity going to head towards the bottom path right here. They did secure that bottom objective, but they're behind on our scoreboard right now, 118 to 80. Not a terrible position to be in. You know, when your tier 1 goal zone breaks on the top or bottom Doob Snacks, it gives you access to a lot of experience in those paths, and that can actually bring you back in a game that you're behind.
Oh, going straight forward is SlashCan, identifying where Draken is. The Chandelure throwing in some fireballs, but they are not finding their mark as there's 4 players from Luminosity Gaming looking to make a move. Nice! Unite into the backline, bang, Wicked Blow KO, and now they have a real opportunity. They're trying to get on top of a Nemo who's just throwing all the claws forward that they can. We've got a Mega Mewtwo here, A-pressing everybody down, Tempo low on HP, A-press through with Overlord as well. 2 quality KOs, side strike, no, can't quite pop them up, but Curios is there to cut down the trash.
I want to call out an amazing play. When Garchomp went into that Unite move right there, Overlord had the Trick Phantom Force on them, popped back into the tall grass away from where Garchomp was, Blaze kicked over its head as it moved in with its Unite move, absolutely breaking the ankles of the Land Shark right there. That was incredible. Luminosity having an amazing fight here in this bottom path. But again, look at the scoreboard, 118-80. That's how well Peru is playing this. They didn't give them an inch score-wise.
Incredibly close this game is. Again, you mentioned that Land Shark looking like a shark on land right there, and they're going to have to materialize back into this. Typically, nice, this is an easy catch right here. What you want to do is convert it into a KO to double teleport SlashCan. They're wasting a lot of time on the clock. That took way more effort than it should have out of Peru. Now, Luminosity Gaming using the Rings Unbound, that big Hoopa Unite move, and Otter just running right at him, going for the stun. Coup de grace secure, Cinderace secure. Coup de grace secure on Chandelure knockout as they're sitting on this goal zone, and they're looking for more action. They didn't want to put points in.
We need to get some better coup de grace secures, right? It didn't get the Bunnelby here. It still doesn't got the objective. I think Curios can make it happen right here. Kea in some trouble as they are going down. But this objective in the top path, ripped down by Peru, that's that Regieleki. It's going to be walking towards that tier 2 goal zone. Massive Shadow Sneak, and it looks like Mimikyu's going in right into Unite move. They're looking for the KO Dragon Claw combo, and Overlord goes down.
A-press victory here. Shadow Sneak does hit Otter. Stepping up is Trainer. Nice Wicked Blow using their Unite move back the other way. Garchomp Unite is down, but we saw another escape, I believe, through the Phantom Force, and now stepping forward is Trainer. Dragon Rush goes right through. They can't quite nail their target. Now they're on the chase. Springboard, boing, trying to get after Tempo, who's working through the birds, and because they slow down just a little bit, the Wicked Blow sorts them out.
Beautiful stuff there from Luminosity, really punishing them for making their way into their central area. And I got to say, incredible sound effects, my friend. As always, 10 out of 10. 10
out of 10 sound effects. I'll be doing no more and retiring on top.
Huge. Wow, this is last day doing sound effects, everybody. Give it up for Doomsnacks, everyone. His last sound effect of the broadcast.
Okay. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate all the support. Here we go. It looks like I am going home after this. Perfect. Can't wait. 3 minutes left on the clock. The scoreboard is now in favor of Luminosity Gaming. The levels are as well. So they're in the position that they would like to be. They just got to tactfully maneuver the back end of this game and find themselves a Game 2 win.
Yeah, here we are, 168-218, and some of these fights have been going really well for Luminosity. We talked earlier about this Trick Phantom Force combination that Hoopa is able to provide their team, and they have made some amazing outplays because of it, right? Just some incredible stuff here from LG as we are walking towards this bottom objective. And look at Peru. They're all making their way towards this Tier 2 goal zone, which is going to give them a possible score advantage. And it does. 288-218, 30 seconds left. They are up. And in the top path, Reggie Alecki is spawning, which means if they take this, they unlock another win condition, Doomsnacks. It would walk towards their home goal zone. However, they all peel back away from it and get ready for Rayquaza because they know how fast Luminosity could rip this off the map with Cinderace.
A 70-point advantage, and Peru Unite and Luminosity Gaming are looking at each other. This might be an early engage. Straight into the action with the Surf, and bound to the slow beam. Mewtwo Unite comes back the other way. Into the back line is Trainer. They find a KO on the Candle. Now we're moving forward. We're pushing back through. Surf gets 2 players down on Luminosity. Otter goes Rings Unbound, and they're going to have to try and stun down this team. We've already got Tempo working on Rayquaza. The Garchomp is great at shredding. We have the Cinderace on the backside, still stand back in their Unite move. And if there's anything we learned from Solo Q is they got an opportunity to steal. Side Strike hits the side duck right there. Overlord is getting chased. They try to get into the mix. They can't. They do find a KO on Draken, though. Rayquaza's getting low. Still standing is the Mewtwo. Why? No.
Iba't ibang seafood sarap. Para sa lahat. Misin kasi yan.
They are down as well, and now the Aegislash can't make it in time, and Peru Unite grabs a Rayquaza.
And it looks like Peru is evening up the score right here as they are heading towards Luminosity's side. Now, of course, Urshifu able to do some damage through these Rayquaza shields, but Urshifu is not at that main goal zone as 100 points reigns in. No, 200 points for Peru. It's going to be tough for LG, but there's still a minute left in this game, Doomsnacks.
Yeah, I mean, 2 players down with huge timers. They got to move. This is the opportunity to go. Psyduck peeling back. They're trying to sit on that goal zone. Everybody's trying to nab back as many Unite moves as they can for this push.
Yeah, and here they go. They're making their way across the map right here. As you talked about, big timers on the other side. Chandelure back in 10 seconds. Mimikyu back in 20. This is going to be a 5v3 at this goal zone. They have to take this fight, and they need to win. They need to KO every single member of Peru, or they're going to keep landing on their heads. Garchomp waiting to go in, and now they land. Big-time Dragon Claw combo as they are moving forward.
There's the Garchomp Unite. Finds a bunch of targets. Everybody's low on HP. Eject button. Getting a knockout there. Moving forward. Finally, Trainer used their Unite move back to try and get the Garchomp. No, their dispatch stuff. Rings Unbound is way too late. And despite being the big space monster that Hoopa is, it is not enough to change the tides of this game.
They tried. They pushed towards that tier 2, but it was over for them. Peru with a massive defense. I have to give it up to them. The patience to let Garchomp sit on the jump pad for as long as it did until it was the perfect time to land, stop those scores from happening, and then move in with the Unite move. Peru tying it up here 1-1 in our grand finals. This is not going to be a blowout. This is a brawl, my friend.
Well, it looks like Luminosity Gaming may have flown a little too close to the sun with those wax wings that they built for themselves in that draft. Was it unconventional? Yes. Did they deliver on the result they were looking for? No. Does that scare them away from trying it again?
Yeah,
for Cheerios, who's most likely going to be on that.
Yeah, oftentimes when you see Miraidon, it is going to be playing in that sort of typical attacker bot path role, trying to get a ton of experience. Miraidon has a lot of different options. Anemo on that Mimikyu was brutal last game, and here we go, looking at game number 2 with it.
We really need to find a solution here for Luminosity Gaming because they're facing down 2 Pokemon that just iced them out last game. Mamoswine quickly hovered and Wigglytuff as well. Curios going for a quick switch up. I mean, all bets are off right now. I'm not too sure where we end up.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how they finish up. Curios on the Charizard. Slash on the Mamoswine, obviously. I mean, Mamoswine did really well at Worlds, and they've been playing it this weekend, so I'm not surprised. We do have Overlord possibly hanging out here on the Umbreon as more of the carry Umbreon. It would be that double stacking play with Umbreon, and now Tempo grabbing the Buzzwole. Buzzwole, also a Pokemon that I feel like Luminosity has a lot of trouble with.
Yeah, really. Yesterday they had to pick Blissey and go Safeguard just to help mitigate some of the impact that Buzzwole has. That's not an option for them today. Curios grabbing the Umbreon. Slash on the Mamoswine. Otter going to stick as an attacker. That's a support Miraidon. We've got 3 EXP shares queued up right now. We better see some held items switch.
It looks like, I mean, Curious is talking to the staff behind them. I can't tell if he's saying how do 3 EXP shares work, but I don't think that's what he's trying to figure. Yeah, not exactly how you would want.
Terrific.
But we're going to see what exactly they would like to do right here. This is an odd setup here from Luminosity after an odd setup last game. Overlord, though, once again on that Charizard again. We saw them win last month with it.
Yeah, if the jokes out there are true, Overlord didn't actually want to play Charizard. Trainer just kind of zoned out in the pick phase and it was selected for him, and they ended up making a little chicken salad out of chicken scratch with that opportunity here. But it looks like LG is going to have to lie in the bed that they've made with these 3 experience share Pokemon.
Yeah, this is really interesting. If this is what we're running into this match with, I mean, I cannot wait to find out how this is going to go. Luminosity Gaming won. Peru won. These are your grand finals. It is a best of 5 Doob Snacks. Again, the winner of this whole thing, the first team qualified for Worlds. Last year, it was Peru Unite. They are back here up on the big stage to try to figure it out right now. And we're getting word that our game is paused here. It's possible that we had an issue picking one of the Pokemon in draft. And given how their draft looked, that sounds right.
Yeah, that is unsurprising.
Notice the shiny Charmander coming. As we get ready here for our game, we are heading into game number 3. Luminosity Gaming, your purple team. Peru Unite, your orange team. I see an EXP share up there on the Mamoswine.
Yep, I saw Otter as well. So really it was the players switching between characters. Curios is on the Miraidon, not Otter here. Tons of damage in. Tempo is getting very low. Overlord as well. Who's going to come out ahead? Overlord on the chopping block. Bang! Whoa! And look at the little fuzzy Roomba getting it done. 2 players down.
Beautiful stuff right there. That is the official name until they changed it. Made no sense to me. I think they should have kept it. And now we can see Curios in that bottom path. Yes, they do not have the 3rd EXP share.
And really what was most important to me is that they were getting onto the right Pokemon, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like 3 EXP shares, not optimal, but you can deal with it. Having your players playing the Pokemon they want to play may be a bit more important.
Yeah, absolutely, right? This is the strategy that they are looking to deliver here. I don't think they're ready to start playing each other's picks right away. Draken making their way to this bottom path. 8 minutes, 50 seconds here, so the Swablu Altaria are spawning between these 2 paths. Charge Beam looking to try to take some of this, while up in the top path, we have KO already.
Moving forward, we do have the Wicked Blow Urshifu. That's Trainer Ice Fang reposition, and now that Mimikyu's in a lot of trouble, having to get to the berry low on HP. Charmeleon sorting him out.
Beautiful stuff right here from Luminosity. Mewtwo coming up to the top path, but in some trouble right now. Huge mean look into a Wicked Blow, and another KO for LG.
I mean, that's the thing between these 2 teams. You know, like sharks, they smell a little blood in the water. They want to try and find that target without realizing that it's a trap. And there was more players, or more sharks in this case, waiting for them to counter the shark attack. Sharks counter shark attacks in a game with no sharks.
That's right. Just as diamond sharpens diamond, iron sharpens iron, sharks counter sharks.
Diamonds sharpen diamonds.
Of course they do. Of course they do. What are you going to sharp put them with? Not a diamond? Get out of here.
Get out of here. Maybe that's true. I don't know. I'm not really seasoned on any rock or diamond.
No, you're the shark guy.
Little did you know that also shark guys, Luminosity Gaming, as they attack that goal zone.
Now here we go. KO, really nice sneaky goal right here. Now, of course, they're probably going down for it, but it's a low-level KO. And they got a ton of points, wasting a little bit of time here from LG. 7 minutes, 20 seconds, almost on the board. We've got objective spawning top and bottom here in just a moment, Dupes next. And we've seen extremely aggressive plays from LG. Feels like they're taking a lot of amazing fights.
Yeah, Slash specifically has been incredibly impressive. KO streak a 2 upstairs as the Charizard and the Umbreon both go down as Otter and Overlord. And now points going in, 100 to 109. This game is a razor-thin margin.
Yeah, it is. As we head down towards Reggie Steele, we have great secure on the side of Luminosity. It's going to be very difficult for Peru to do anything about. Wicked Blow, one of the best in the game. Nice big move there from Slash. They pull it back. Easy secure for LG.
Draken able to eject button, get back to pad, and put some pressure back on Slash. Slash, again, very aggressive, getting straight up front, grabbing the berry, and now eject buttoning out, making it back, and has an opportunity to put a couple points in if they want to iframe out of some damage. Nope, they're going to waste all the time in the world, so that 32 points goes in. Trainer gonna get it.
Beautiful stuff right here, 147 for Luminosity. We can see in the top path, Peru was able to secure Reggie Alecki, pick up a couple of big KOs, and Nemo already level 10. Tempo about to hit their Unite move at level 9 on this Buzzwole. Charizard on the other side, level 10. That means they also have their Unite available. Looks like they already used it a little earlier. They're going to need to charge that back up.
Well, now Buzzwole getting sussed out here, trying to pick up Otter, put them down, forcing out the big slam. Mewtwo Unite is there, and their chase is on. They do get Overlord. Tempo going down and getting out of dodge. Otter buckled as well by Anemo as they're going to keep moving forward.
Yeah, beautiful combination there by Peru, right? Like using their Unites in kind of perfect harmony.
Oh, nice.
Another Shadow Sneak, grabs a KO there, and Anemo is just moving through LG, picking up multiple KOs one after another.
Otter going to try and protect this goal zone. There's 3 players from Peru here. How Luminosity is going to play around this is going to be important. They are up on the scoreboard, but really the team fights have felt to be all Peru.
Yeah, it felt like LG had a lot of really strong team fights early. We're going to see how that changes once Charizard makes it to a battle with a Unite move, though. It's a devastating Unite, picking up one of their opponents, slamming them down with that Seismic Slam, and then taking to the skies. But, Charizard takes to the skies in a few different ways if Buzzwole picks you up.
I mean, Charizard dispatched up quickly. Trainer's going to go down as well, just pressing through this entire Luminosity Gaming squad. 3 players blinked out of existence quickly, and now it's just a boosted up charge beam by Curios and Otter that have to defend this thing in the face of 4 players. Draken just circling around looking for an opportunity. Here comes Overlord. They need a Nemo down here. They get them. Charizard getting that knockout is important. That experience is needed. Tempo is low too. Chaos Streak 2 for Overlord. Rotating up. Tempo tries to hang tough, but they cannot. Now we're on top of the goal zone here is Luminosity Gaming. They have the player advantage all of a sudden, and they shatter themselves another goal zone. I believe that was an 8-over, so they still have the score lead, now working on Lecky.
Yeah, now they're going to take this Reggie Alecki down. Really nice fight for Luminosity. You saw that Miraidon Unite move, raining the meteors from the sky, doing insane damage, while Overlord finally gets their Unite off against the opponents.
Slash always playing forward. Look at the time they've bought for Overlord to get some experience and get out of there. A nice Ice Fang on Draken, or excuse me, on Tempo, and then an Earthquake onto the birds to help secure them. They go down, yes, but a worthy exchange as they are only level 10.
Now you can take a look here. Anemo having to deal with this Reggie Alecki means they are not at this fight. That's something Luminosity knows. They could take this aggressively, but 2 of their members are away from the action as well. We see Mamoswine and Charizard not here to fight. So 4 members of Peru, they actually have the advantage down here at Reg Ice.
Now Otter is trying and getting spaced out. Mewtwo Unite is there from Zainus. The pressure is forward. Tempo is going forward, and Charizard getting a knockout on Draken. Okay, Slash can Ice Fang on Kea, and now they're looking to push. Overlord using the Unite move, slamming down the Mewtwo, and chasing them down is what they're going to try and do. Anemo in the front line, they're gone. Now the push can happen. They've taken down 2 damage dealers. Are they going to push? No, just a casual reset taking a deep breath, get ready for the next one.
Spinning around a little bit right here. You know, one thing about Sharks, Dupes Next, they can't stop moving or they die. I've heard that. You tell me that every morning. That's the text I get from you every morning about Sharks. And Overlord right there cannot stop moving. Level 14 needs their Unite move. One combination I want to point out that I thought was really interesting, when they went for their Unite move against Mewtwo, a lot of Pokemon can't close the gap when Mewtwo uses its double teleport and then Psy Strikes, you know, so it would slow them, knock them up. When Char's in its Unite move, it doesn't have to worry about that. It can chase it down pretty well, and then there's no knockup because it's already in the air. So this could be a really great counter into Mewtwo.
Otter taking a ton of damage. The charge beam there, enough to let Otter retreat. Peru closing out that tier 1 goal zone, 185, 139. We only have 30 seconds till Rayquaza. Will Peru look upstairs to make a play for the Regieleki? Will LG look upstairs to make a play here? It looks like both teams are content just positioning for Rayquaza.
Yeah, you know what I think has been happening is the team with the more aggressive positioning right here is taking an early fight, surprising their opponents and winning. I don't think Luminosity wants to walk into this Rayquaza pit late, so they are taking an extremely aggressive position in the tall grass, looking to catch someone. Overlord kind of all alone at the top of the Ray pit right here. They know that on the side of Peru.
Good Thunder cover. Slashcan actually separating KO from the rest of the team. They have to cut and Cloud Crash take to the skies. Now we're forcing out the Mamoswine Unite move. They're going straight through the choke point. They actually catch Tempo in the Ice Fang. Thunder is there. The engagement follows. Buzzwole has to run away. The charge beam doesn't have the range to get it. I just saw a leaf tornado out of KO right there as they're going to move back forward. Anemo going for a huge flank. They're kind of lost in the sauce here, and I'm not sure LG knows where they are. Is the flank still available? That's the question. Shadow Sneak on Otter. They decide not to follow through.
Yeah, they don't want to follow through right here as we're kind of resetting in this moment. No great catch,
Ice
but
Fang.
once again a big Ice Fang.
Right into the Fire Blast, and now LG has the initiative. Tempo being down is huge. Not having a Buzzwole is their kryptonite, as we mentioned. They do have a lead. Are they going to start working on Rayquaza? They're looking for a team fight. Anemo has not hit a Shadow Sneak on the target they want. Fire Blast over the wall with the Earthquake as Slashcan. They're trying to get the time that they need. They are just peppering each other with hits, and finally Rayquaza is approaching the halfway mark. Charizard Unite on Mimikyu. They're going for the burn down. Mimikyu Unite counter back. The meteors are crashing to Earth. Mewtwo follows suit, and now we're putting damage. 2 players down instantly for Peru. KO Shrika 2 for Curios. Oh, we have the big Unite. The Wicked Blow doesn't hit its mark. The Mewtwo Mega stays standing, and now Tempo's getting low. They're gone. It's the Curios show here at the Rayquaza. Now Trainer's trying to close the gap on Zynus. Zynus is running away. Time is running thin, and Peru needs to make a move.
Yeah, 30 seconds left on the clock. There's not much they can do. Zynus has no points in their pocket. They cannot score right here. Multiple members of Luminosity making their way across the board. And of course, this is really their only shot. I don't even think they can get enough damage on it right here. I think, unfortunately for Peru, they were just completely shut down at Rayquaza. Multiple KO strings from Luminosity. All of them started by Slash with huge catches on the Buzzwole.
And now LG insulating their goal zones, protecting that small lead that they have. They're going to be successful, Cowboy.
Amazing stuff here as Luminosity takes another game, up 1 against Peru. I mean, this was quite a fight. I think Luminosity played this so well. They caught them, but they didn't let their opponents engage on them when they had any type of advantage. So they'd catch them, and they knew they had time, so they let the time continue to tick down. They would catch them again, and they knew the time could keep ticking down. They were already ahead. Peru had to be the team to make the play, and with, you know, one of their weapons gone, one of their tools, that Buzzwole, not available to them, they just couldn't engage on the full Luminosity crew right there. Beautiful picks by Slash.
Oh, yeah.
That Mamoswine, the Ice Fang, I know Wazzy somewhere is pretty excited.
Yeah, I mean, the double Ice Fang, getting Tempo twice and putting them in harm's way. That was a beautiful Unite move. Ice Fang, bang. Look at that trap they sprung. Barely able to get out is Tempo, but none phased. No longer having a Unite move, bang, does again, straight into the Fire Blast that was already on the ground. Great positioning. And then from there, it was actually Curios that totally took over.
Yeah, I mean, look at this right here. We have the Mimikyu Unite. We have the Slow Beam. They're just trying to stop this somehow, but they can't. Multiple members of Peru going down. And Luminosity correctly recognizing, like, we don't need Rayquaza here. We don't even want to get it low so that something crazy can happen and Peru can come in here and steal. We just need to play smart Pokemon Unite right now. Go and defend. Trainer, player of the game right there. 6 big KOs, 41,000 damage.
It really can't. Let's get into game 4 here between these two teams. Luminosity up a game, and of course the Mew ban remains. LG with an option here. They could really go after that slow bro if they'd like.
Yeah, here we go. The Mew, of course, they do not want to deal with this. Blissey, their next ban. Inteleon, something that a lot of teams have been banning out this weekend. And the final ban from Luminosity, what they do not want to see on the other side, it could be a slow bro. I mean, let's face it.
I wouldn't be upset with that from this standpoint here. And it looks like they're trying to negotiate. Maybe a couple players with a couple ideas decide on the Mewtwo. But there's a lot of powerful tools here at the disposal. If Kea goes duck, now LG can grab the Slowbro for themselves if that's the direction they'd like to go.
Yeah, Psyduck, one of the newest additions to Pokemon Unite, has just been an absolute force. It is a supporter, and the way it supports is by destroying everything in its path. So it's just incredibly powerful. It has an incredible amount of disruption, right? The slows, the stuns, the knockups. It just does so much to the opposing squad. It also has its move Psychic, which will allow you to reposition your opponents briefly, which is incredible. Luminosity, their first 2 picks, the Urshifu, not surprised, and the Umbreon. Now, we saw it earlier on Otter, looking pretty good, but it also could be played by Slash, who I believe is probably the best Umbreon player in the world.
Okay, Draken is highlighting that Mamoswine here. Obviously, a great game from Slash last time on this Pokemon. However, if they go into this, now all of a sudden Slowbro kind of becomes a liability. So Luminosity maybe not banning it, not picking it, dodging one here as Otter quickly goes to Comfey. Curios, hovering Buzzwole, something that's kind of been, again, their main kryptonite, but not when you catch it early. Comfey lock here, and Overlord is going to get just the arsenal of weaponry available in Pokemon Unite to see how they close this thing out. Zacian is the pick for tempo, and Anemo going to have the opportunity to maybe, I was going to say, light it ablaze with a Charizard of their own. No, Mimikyu is where they go. Mimikyu is what they lock in, and why not?
Our final pick here over to Luminosity Gaming now. If history makes any sense, we would be seeing a Zoroark here for Overlord, right? But I'm not sure exactly what Pokemon they want to play with this.
I mean, they might switch Blue Bear to Overlord and go from there. Zoroark has pulled it, it's selected, and you can kind of hear the crowd coming alive because Overlord on this pick, Zoroark and Overlord are synonymous.
This is tough. I mean, because Peru did not grab the Slowbro, Luminosity knew that they could counterpick. I mean, they revealed their trap card here. This is the Comfey Zoroark. This is one of the most devastating combinations in all of Pokemon Unite, and the most famous player to run this in the World Championships, of course, Overlord. This could be really tough for Peru Unite. Now, if Peru can win right here, first off, they need to, so it tie up the series. But if they can win right here, they would be beating one of the strongest combinations that we have ever seen on a Pokemon Unite stage.
They do have a shutdown opportunity here in the Mimikyu, right? That Mimikyu Unite, throws the big Mimikyu blanket over their target, locks them in place, deals them some damage, and the whole team can focus fire down the target that you trap. But unfortunately for Anemo, there's a lot of other melee brawlers that are going to be in the mix, going to be in the way, that can be priority targets as well, and it's going to make it difficult for the Mimikyu to get to that Zoroark. One, because of their mobility, it's tougher to hit a Shadow Sneak to actually get in range, and two, if Zoroark does engage, it's usually going to be around other players on its team, which means it makes it not a sure thing to get that Mimikyu Unite on them. So Anemo's got the weight of the world right now. I mean, their tournament life is in his hands because they're going to need to hit that thing every single time.
Here we go. We're getting ready for our match right here. Quick pause. One of the players having an issue on the big stage. Peru, 1-game win. Luminosity, 2. Obviously, if LG takes this game, they win the entire thing right now. This is a best of 5 Dupe Stacks.
Best of 5, 1 game away is Luminosity Gaming. I'm not sure they're used to being in this position in Grand Finals, having lost a game. Usually it's just quick 3, let's get out of here, pack it up, go home. But we were talking about it earlier. This has not been a traditional LG run to the finals. Usually it's 2-0s, 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 Grand Finals, 3-0s, pack it up, let's go home. But they've had a lot of teams stepping up in this tournament to face them, taking games off them, and making this trek ever more difficult.
Yeah, this has been a pretty amazing series between these two squads. I'm so glad that it was these two running to the end. Now, of course, part of me would have loved to have seen Komai. I mean, an EU squad here. The audience obviously was absolutely in love with them yesterday, cheering for their, home region here. But these are two of the best in the world going at it right now. Luminosity looking to add another piece of hardware to the collection, looking to win their second live event of the season before they head over across another pond to Japan for ACL.
Yeah, as I mentioned, this is a great feather in the cap going into that event. Another big win on an international stage. They'll have been the only team that has collected those accolades this year, and certainly as the only Western representative in ACL, you want to show up with as much to brag about and show and prove that you should be there. Luminosity has earned it at LAIC, but this would make it a no-doubter.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I mean, I think a lot of people are looking at Luminosity right now as sort of a return to form, maybe the best in the world back at it again. But right now, we could be looking at our last game here in our grand finals. Peru unite your purple team, Luminosity Gaming your orange team. If LG wins this one, they will be your AOS Cup champions.
Overlord getting an escort here in the middle because Zorua, much like Cubfu, pretty weak early game. So making sure that if an invade occurs, they've got that support that they need to make sure they don't lose the levels. Overlord looks to be comfortably into that level 5 area to evolve and be able to jump into a path early.
When it's gotta be this clean, it's gotta be you. Uni Oil.
Masarap na sugar-free ba ang hanap? Try Tang Fruit Plus. Naturally sweetened with stevia. For real.
Yeah, they're going to head through this central area right here, get all the experience that they need. You can see that they handed over that red buff to Otter. This is going to allow this Comfey to slow its opponents with its auto attacks right here. Kea in a little bit of trouble, going to have to back off. They're just trying to make sure that they can charge that headache gauge before a big fight.
Yeah, we saw the Cubfu hit the path. Zoroark is in the bottom path, or they're looking to drop on top of the heads of Peru. They're coming in. Draken is very low, darting through, and now getting some points in successfully are all 3 players on LG. Anima with the rotation. Curios is going to be put on the chopping block, and they're going to be chopped up for certain as Overlord needs to grab these middle birds. Tons of pressure being put on. Are they going to get out of dodge just in time? Anima with the engage, and they're trying to get through. The surf is there as well. Support Kea really wants Overlord to go down. Now we're just shelling in a ton of damage. Draken barely making it out. We're still laying in surfs as Kea. Now we're picking up a Barryu, and Nemo is put back with the foul play and finally knocked out.
I mean, look at these two teams. Every time we cut to one of these paths, every time we see them, they are brawling non-stop. It really feels like they're just trying to show the other team how much better they are at this game.
One thing I want to point out, Peru expended a lot of time and resources to try and knock out Overlord. A 4-player rotation on 2, unsuccessful Spraggles, and actually Anemo gets KO'd in that endeavor, which means Peru faltering early in this one, down again. Not out though.
Yeah, not out at all. However, the Comfey is on top of the Zoroark right here as they start making their way to the bottom path. We see 3 members of Peru coming down here to deal with it, but before Silent can even get a headache, it gets knocked out.
Holy, okay, Overlord looking for a next target. Draken is low. That's an Electro Drift from Rhydon that stepped onto a landmine called Overlord. Comfey combo. Tempo running down. We see the Vine Whip come out. Doesn't really matter. Everybody's getting eviscerated on the side of Peru, and Luminosity Gaming is picking up steam. Overlord grabs the Comfey, and all of a sudden Kea is looking around saying, holy smokes, I thought I had more people on my team here. But no, their HP bar is at half, and they pop that headache. They go, and everybody backs up on LG.
Look at this here. Overlord almost level 9 already. They did tick over to it, so they have the first Unite move of the match. Massive level lead. Getting caught by the Ice Fang right here, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to bring that towards my team. I'd be a little worried.
I mean, interestingly enough, Slash is actually playing the Wish Umbreon, so they're putting a lot of resources into Overlord here. Curio's hanging out while silently Trainer is up top trying to gain more levels, but Anemo is there as well. We're ripping through this Regirock. Is this going to be a surf play here by Kea? It is not. They don't decide not even to go in. The Psychic locks up the Comfey for just a moment. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is really tough for Peru so far. Obviously, a great start for Luminosity Gaming, and what looks like a great draft for them already. Regieleki in the hands of Trainer here as Luminosity sends the Zoroark Comfey back to their central area. Multiple members of Peru heading to the top path right here. We're going to see if they're able to stop Trainer. It's hard to stop a Wicked Blower Shifu, and they do not.
Now going straight into the back line is Overlord, popping their Unite move, getting more sustain. Umbreon Unite as well, they're looking to push. Surf back through, get space. Draken engages with the Earthquake, and now we're going forward. The push continues. Tempo is chasing. They want this knockout. They at least get Trainer on the hop, but Overlord makes it out, and they're going to put 70 points in downstairs.
Points right into the bottom goal zone, 15-124. While we do have the Mimikyu chasing down multiple members of LG, picking up another KO in the center there on the tier 2. We have Zoroark and Comfey continuing to score. Comfey putting 30 points into that bottom path here. Now Luminosity up 160.
I mean, this Electro Drift Miraidon is just taking so much damage every time it goes in. Yes, it's making it out most of the time, but so much so that it can't actually re-engage. We've got the Wicked Blow charged up, doesn't hit the broadside of a barn. Tempo, all the legs in the world to keep moving forward. They got that sword in that mouth, and they're looking to put it through the hearts of LG right now. We're moving through. Psychic is caught. Buzz will Unite straight into the middle. Curios is going to try and help the team out. Zoroark Unite is popped as well. Overlord is gone, which means Otter is next one lined up. It's Tempo taking over. Zacian saying, I'm still here too. I used to have that EX tag as well. Mimikyu Unite on Slashcan. They're looking to run and get back towards Pat.
Wow, look at that. Peru coming right back in this game, winning a massive fight, picking up huge KOs. Level-wise, they're ahead of LG right now. 11 for the Mimikyu, 11 for the Zacian, 10 right there for the Miraidon. Only 111 on the side of Luminosity Gaming. They gave up so much in that engagement.
They really did. I mean, when you put all your resources into Overlord, if Overlord goes down, that is a massive experience swing into the hands of Peru. Now, slight score lead here for Luminosity Gaming, but it's even now. Couldn't even finish the sentence before it just got squared away.
Yeah, 162-162. Incredible stuff right here. Now, if there is a draw in Unite, it is the first team to hit that point threshold that would win the game, and this has happened on the big stage like this before. It's crazy, but it does happen.
Comfey Unite is out to make sure Overlord doesn't go down. We mentioned how big of a deal that is. Tempo dashing through, going back towards Pad, trying to score some points downstairs are Curios and Trainer. Shadow Sneak actually hits the wild Pokemon, but it puts them in range of Overlord anyways. They're looking to fight. We're sliding through. Slow Smoke is down. Anemo uses their Unite move. We're coming through. Zoroark Unite back the other way. The Meteors from the Miraidon are hitting the map. Slashcan pushing forward. So are Otter and Overlord. K is low on HP. Trainer going to the back line. Electro Drift caught before it can be charged up and shot. And now we're putting in points, and all of LG's collapsing on this T1.
Yeah.
Oh, good math there, kiddos.
Beautiful stuff. 167-268 here for LG. 3 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock, which means in a minute and a half, Rayquaza hits the map. This could be the last Ray that Peru is going to see here at EUIC. They're down one game. They need to win this. Now, they've had some incredible team fights against Luminosity, but if they can't lock down that Zoroark, they will not be able to win.
Slashcan moving in, getting some vision, Ice Fang repositioned, and Slashcan in a tough spot. They make it out of this, that is truly something special, but that Shadow Sneak and another Ice Fang is going to deal with them quickly.
And here we have scores happening still in the bottom path. Luminosity just continuing to extend this point lead. This puts them in a nice position where if your opponents want to run away from Rayquaza to try to get some scores, they can't. And then also, if your opponents decide, to take Ray, you still have an opportunity to defend. Overlord making it out of a very tricky situation right there.
Trainer in the face of Anemo. Anemo can't quite get the right amount of damage in to keep pursuing, and I like them peeling away. We've got under about 35 seconds until Rayquaza, and we've got a basement objective populating in that time. How is Peru going to play this? Are they going to go for a counter score?
It looks like Peru completely running away from that bottom objective. They recognize they can't fight at it just yet. Instead, they want to try to even up the scoreboard, as you mentioned, Doopsnacks. They're heading to the top path right now to put some points in, while Slash is also scoring the bottom path. 197-304 right here. Luminosity Gaming taking some really aggressive positioning around this Rayquaza pit, possibly looking for an early fight. They have a game to give. Peru doesn't. So if LG gets aggressive, takes a couple of big KOs right away, they could win this entire thing. The tournament could come down to the next few moments right here. The team that could be heading to Worlds will be decided. Overlord looking for their moment, seeing if they can bait members of Peru toward their side. Peru knows how important this is and recognizes they are behind. They need to make a play. The Shadow Sneak catches Overlord, but they decide not to follow it up.
Overlord looking for Kea. Kea putting a surf down. Overlord putting damage in. Tempo with the engage. They put the slow smoke down. Overlord's going to need some help. No, they're looking to back. Slash Can's there for the cover, and that's a few resources expended right now.
It's a few resources expended, but Peru not able to make the catch they wanted. They are now getting pushed back towards their tier 2. Overlord pushing into them right now. Tempo following up.
Overlord's getting low. We have to use that Unite move. The Flowery Fields forever is down. Overlord remains standing. Everybody's pivoting back to the middle. Overlord saw that KO was isolated, and they want that KO bad. They keep chasing him down. They get it. Tempo now caught between two. Nice foul play, reposition. The follow-up is there. Urshi for Unite goes in. It doesn't hit its mark. Foul play. Excuse me. Zoroark Unite comes back through to keep putting the pressure on. Finally, the meteors crash to Earth. Trainer uses the throat chop to get out of there. The birds are there. They eat a Unite. Trainer's low. Trainer's gone. Curios is looking, watching. My teammate fall. Electro Drift quickly plucked and put down by the Buzzwole on the backside. Slash Can's working through. They finally pop their Umbreon Unite. They're looking to get on top of a Nemo. Electro Drift is there. Mimikyu Unite is down on Slash. Curios is trying to come in and cover, but no, the Buzzwole Unite finally comes out, but it hits Draken. Curios gets put up, put down, and they're still fighting down here. Finally, the Buzzwole is dealt with, but Overlord and Comfy are back. Everybody's low on HP. This is Overlord's kitchen. They get them right on quickly. A Nemo tries to get them, but they put the slow smoke down. They're going to score.
There's only 20 seconds left. We have multiple members of Peru on Rayquaza. Mimikyu can rip
84
this.
goes in.
84 is in. Rayquaza's at half right now. Only 10 seconds left on the clock.
Here
Tempo
comes
is
Overlord.
here, but there's just no time. Overlord moves to the middle, and Luminosity Gaming is going to stop them, and they are going to win the AL's Cup.
Holy smokes, that fight went on forever. That fight was all over the map. That fight was a classic. That fight was LG's, and they're going to be visiting the world's largest marble in Anaheim by the team with the world's largest marbles on stage, getting it done. They're two-time IC champions of 2025 season.
Sarap together! New Lucky Me Chicken Chili Mansi Mami.
At the end of the week, you will be an entirely different person.
Amen. Amen.
LG!
Luminosity Gaming, once again,